Okay, welcome to Reverend Sam and the Church of the Spinning Wheel, and I'm here once again with my buddy Scott, and today we're going to ride his bikes. We're going to do a comparison on both of these here motorcycles.
First I started with the FZ1 and wanted to do a tribute to the old Yamaha road racers. So the red front fender, white with a red stripe all the way down the bike. The fairing is off of a Ducati 900 SS pre-1990, and it's been modified significantly. But my favorite part of it, this is really a TZ750 tribute. So this is a TZ750D seat from AirTech. And it rained on us so much the first few times we rode it, we renamed it TZ1 Rainmaker. So what was done with this bike, this is a sport touring bike. It had a muffler on it, was literally twice as long as this. It stuck out past the end of the bike. And then the seat was a double seat with all kinds of turn signals and things back here. So I cut about 10 inches off the frame, bent this lower rail up, developed a new muffler hanger, and then had to pull the frame together to fit this seat, and modified all the back. Made these side covers out of carbon fiber and faired and polished and varnished them. You have to varnish it because the epoxy it's laid in will degrade in sunlight. And that's pretty much it. It's mostly everything that was done to it's cosmetic. So it's a tribute to the old TZ750 road racers, but it's a bone stock side draft carbureted Gen 1 R1 motor. Makes about 125 horse. Real easy to ride, and you can ride it at 3,000 RPM, and you can ride it at 10,500 RPM. You know, it pulls like a 500 at 3,500 RPM. But if you're just tooling around town, you know, you put it in 6th gear and run 45. It just sits there and purrs. Right. Doesn't jerk around. It doesn't load up. It doesn't do anything stupid. So, you know, a bone stock bike fundamentally that looks like I don't know what it looks like, but you know, it's supposed to be a tribute to the old TZ750 Yamaha road racers. So, wonderful bike to ride. It's so easy to ride. It's a sweetheart. You know, you can ride all day until your rear end is sore, and when you get off, you're sad because
Right.
The bike just loves you.
Right.
You know, and at 70 on the highway, when you roll on the throttle, you'll see 100 in about 3 seconds. It's just unbelievable.
So tell us about the Buell.
So you and I both know Rex, a friend of ours who's a Buell nut. And a few years ago, he had this is an XB12, 2004, I believe. But Rex had a yellow XB12, and it's a little bike. I mean, physically, it's the size of a 250, so it's short, meaning, you know, it really wheelies easy. And when I was in Rex's garage and that XB12 was running, it just sits there and thumps away. It's a 1200 sporty motor with, what is it, Thundercrest or Thunder something heads.
Yeah, Thunder, yeah, something or other.
Thunder Chief or Thunder something.
I can't remember, but yeah.
And it's got all the tricks on it. It makes about 100 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. So it's no slouch. But Rex's would sit on his garage floor and walk out, sitting on the stand, it would just walk out. You know, it'd just be vibrating. You could feel
a common Harley trait.
Just walking heading for the door backwards. And you could feel it in your feet. And I fell in love with the bike. So about exactly a year ago, he has a friend up in the Bay Area that lives across the street from the ocean. Had a mass of bikes he was selling, and he had this one, which literally had 1,500 miles on it. And he says, yeah, 3,000 sounds good. And I said, well, okay, I'll see what I can scrape together. And so you've got, with the difference between these two bikes is the Buell is going to give you about 85 foot-pounds of torque at like 2,000 RPM. I mean,
Right.
It's just bang. So if you grab second gear in a left-hand turn onto a street, it will break the rear end loose just almost every time if you get on the throttle at all. And that's really disconcerting. Well, because it's over before you go, oh, you know, that just happened. You know, you don't have any chance to respond because it hooks back up. The cool things about this bike, there are a number of things. The fuel is actually in the frame. If you look at the fuel filler neck, this is just a cover over the air filter. The fuel actually fills the frame. So there's about 3 gallons of fuel in the frame. The oil, it's a dry sump like most Harleys. the oil is in the swing arm. So all very cool things, in addition to a perimeter front disc brake, which is, everybody brags about their front disc brakes. This is literally a pinky finger brake. I mean, it will really, it's sweet. It's not frightening at all. It's completely proportional, but man, it is a powerful brake. 80 horse, you know, and it's just pulling. You know, this is a real, I love both of these bikes, but they're so different. But they both should be able to carve a good canyon road, and that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to promise each other we're not going to be stupid and not hurt ourselves.
That's right. We're going to promise.
We're gonna promise. I do that every time.
Yeah. You know, I love you. Checks in the mail. I won't come in your mouth. Well, all right, Scott. That's all the info I need. And as soon as our other buddy shows up, we'll jump on these bastards and ride them.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go on Scott's FZ1 or TZ1 Rainmaker, or all customized and looking like a vintage race bike. And this ain't no Harley Davidson. It is completely different. I am not used to having to get like 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs to get the bike moving. I feel like I'm in the cockpit of a fighter jet. So this thing feels like ultra stable. And it just feels planted to the fucking ground at all times. Just straight as an arrow. This thing, you just roll the fucking throttle on and then there's instant fucking power. That is super smooth. Oh wow, this thing carves so nice. I mean, it scares the shit out of me, for sure, but man, it carves nice. I love Scott. Hey, they're his bikes, man. I'll ride it through the fucking water if he wants me to. Big ass rocks. Delivery is just so fucking smooth. Ah, that's a fun road. Forget how fucking tall this thing is.
Yeah.
Alright, time for the torque monster. The Buell Oh, this is so much different than the FZ1. Should probably find the brakes, huh? Oh yeah, this thing is the steering is totally different. Whoa! And the torque is unfucking real. Like if you touch the gas, it just wants to fucking turn on you. Whoa! It's violent. The torque on this is violent. Everything about this bike, I just keep saying violent because it is. I mean, it just really, really is. The steering, the gearing, it just fucking screams like, take your chances, bitch. I mean, it handles good. It feels a little, I mean, it feels twitchy, but it's a really short, really tall motorcycle, so it's gonna. It's nowhere near as forgiving as that FZ1. Like, you just twist the wick on this thing and it feels like it's gonna launch right out from underneath you. And if you let go of the throttle, it feels like it's gonna launch out right off the front of it. Whoa! Yeah, see, I just downshifted there, fucking wiggled the ass. And that wasn't a hard downshift. That was just the way it downshifts. It feels more agile than the FZ1, for sure. You know, like, I mean, it feels like you could run some cones on this bitch for sure, with its super tight wheelbase. The brakes on it are fucking magnificent. I mean, like, I'm using one finger to run the brakes. And because of the torque, I think I'm in third gear, and I ran it right down to where it should have stalled, but it didn't. All you did is twist the throttle. It fucking pulled itself out of it, like 500 RPMs and third gear at 5 miles an hour. All right, that bike is just violent. I mean, it is up or down. With either direction you shift and twist the throttle, there is violence.
This one's easier to ride, isn't it?
Way easier, way. I should have started out on this one.
You can switch back if you want.
Oh, no, that's all right. I got to give it a test drive.
Yeah.
So this thing, it's not as fast as that FZ1, but goddamn it, it's a lot more exciting when you twist the throttle and actually accelerate. It's a lot more exciting. I'll tell you what, this thing taking off is just fucking fun. Holy shit. So this thing just keeps building power all the way to the rev limiter. Like, it doesn't even come close to slowing down. The power and torque curve is apparently a straight line up. It's not really a curve. Oh yeah, so I'm in top gear. I'm not used to 5 speeds anymore. But thanks a lot, Scott.
Thank you. It was a fun time.
Yes, it was. We got to do it again real soon. All right, so leaving Scott's house on the Dyna. Nice to be back on my own bike. As weird as it feels now after riding a Street Fighter Buell and a full-blown crotch-rocketed FZ1. But anyway, so my final thoughts on the Buell and the TZ1 Rainmaker. Both are magnificent motorcycles. The Yamaha's rear brake is a little touchy. Everything else about it is absolutely fucking perfect. I mean, it's just so silky smooth. It corners beautifully at high speeds up over 100. It's super stable. Just a absolutely beautiful machine. The clutch pull is a little stiffer than I would like, but definitely manageable. I mean, I've ridden way worse. Now, what else do I want to say about that bike? Oh, it's also just one of my favorite motorcycles ever because Scott built it and he did a beautiful job. You know, he did all that body work and all that paint just to make it a one-of-a-kind motorcycle. And when you're riding it, you can feel how special the bike is. Now, the Buell is a completely different animal. I mean, it is where the FZ1 is like super silky smooth with just unbelievable handling. That's not the Buell. The Buell, there was nothing smooth about the Buell. The Buell is a hammer made for war. I mean, it is just absolutely just pure violence. As I said over and over again while riding it, I mean, it's all the power is just on instantly. It's super fun to ride, but for the first couple of minutes you're just literally scared. How did it handle? It handled really well. I didn't get to run it through the high-speed corners that I wanted to due to traffic, but from what I got to, the little bit I got to do, it handled, I mean, just really well. And honestly, on acceleration, it's more fun than the FZ1. You know, like a lot more fun, because it's just, the acceleration is so violent and so surprising to the point where, I mean, it's scary. When you launch it, it is flat out fucking scary. Which one did I like the most? I gotta go with the Yamaha because Scott made it just so beautiful, and it really is just, I mean, it's so easy to drive. It's so easy to ride. It handles so well. It honestly, it inspires confidence you don't actually deserve. You know, because it just handles so well. It does exactly what you expect it to do every single time. So I'm gonna have to go with the FZ1. Huge thank you to Scott, who continues to let me ride his motorcycles, all of them. I think I've ridden all of his bikes, and you know, and some of them are full-blown custom motorcycles, and he's, oh no, take it for a ride. You really can't beat a friend like that. So thank you, Scott at Griffin Customs.